Hello, Facebook world. I'm so excited to be back bringing you some answers to the questions that you have. You know what to do right now. If you've been in these live chats before, show me all the hearts. Throw those heart emojis in there. This time I want to see 10 of them. Throw them up right now. Give me those heart emojis. Let me see that you are here and joining us right now. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Awesome. All right. And if you've never been to one of our live events before, I want you right now to throw up the thumbs up and let me know that you're here and you're excited to be here today. Are you here? Throw me those thumbs up. I see you joining right now. There's a few of you here. We're going to let a few more get back on here. Thank you. I see those hearts. Thank you, Lisa. I see that. Thank you so much. Erica, thank you. Right. I love that you guys are here. Yes, I see those thumbs ups. That's great. Keep them going. Keep them going. Okay, I've got an amazing panel here with me today, and it looks like I'm having technical difficulties, so we'll see how this goes. But we've got Adam Wilhelm, Managing Director of Communication. I've got Susan Anderson, principal at Epic Charter Schools, Chandler Winningham, your favorite in the Learning Fund Department, and Regina Bell, probably one of the greatest teachers I've ever met in my life. And that's only because Susan and you guys are already moved up the chain, okay? So let me see here. Adam, who are you? How long have you been with Epic, and what is your role here at Epic?
Hey, Erin, thank you. My name is Adam Wilhelm. I'm Managing Director of Instruction here with Epic. This is going on my 10th year, so it's been quite a ride.
And Susan, what is your role at Epic? How long have you been here?
This is my 8th year with Epic, and I'm currently serving as a principal.
Beautiful. Regina, you have been a teacher for how long? And then how long have you been a teacher here at Epic?
This is my 32nd year to teach, and this is my 3rd year at Epic.
And your second time to go live with us, right?
Yes, I'm a regular. I like it.
And Chandler, this is also your second or third time to go live with us. We love that you keep coming back. What do you do here, and how long have you been with Epic Charter School?
Thank you, Erin. Absolutely. So this is my 3rd time going live, and I've actually been here for 3 years this month, and I am the director of the Learning Fund.
Beautiful, beautiful. Candy, I see you've already asked a great question. Thank you for putting it in there. How do you screencast this? I'm not really sure, but you can hit the share button up there and share it with anybody that you want to. And we will obviously keep this on our page moving forward. So if you want to rewatch again, you can. Okay, so until more questions start coming through, we've gone to the live chat and grabbed some of the most frequently asked questions from that live chat. And so let's just start there. And maybe that'll get the ball rolling with some of the questions that will come from the families today. But let me see. Adam, what is PACE here? How are we tracking your the attendance for these students and parents? Talk to me about the schoolwork at Epic.
Okay, so pacing with Epic is obviously something that teachers and families have to be very intentional with. We have to make sure that we have a schedule. Majority of teachers have a schedule out with a pacing guide for our students, which includes, daily activities in each subject, depending on grade level, as well as getting into a certain amount of percentage of schoolwork that they're going to do, per day. We really want to focus on making sure that kids are engaged, and that's a daily engagement, just as if they were in a brick and mortar classroom or anywhere across the board, that this is something that they're treating school as this is my time to be in my classes, my time to deep dive into the material and to really kind of focus on, creating a classroom environment and going through what they need in order to get through their certain semesters or their certain guides for that grade level and for the material they're in.
Beautiful. And we've said it so many times before, but we're a school where you get to move at your own pace. And so, Regina, talk to me about working with kiddos who may be doing schoolwork, but they just need some more time. What's that look like for you? How do you help support those kiddos?
Well, I think on my end as a teacher, I think the main thing is knowing each individual family and what their needs are. Not everybody works the 9 to 1 schedule or 9 to 3 kind of schedule. So my job as a teacher is to make sure that whatever the family needs, whatever the situation. For example, I have a student who just had major surgery this week, and obviously he's not going to get all his work done this week. So we've made plans knowing in advance that he was going to be out for about a week and a half, to get him ahead, to get him ready, and then we'll be able to get him back on track. So the main thing with EPIC is just to communicate with your teachers, make sure they know what's going on in your life, what situations are going on, and find the best way to help. The worst thing that can happen is not talking to your teacher and not opening it up. I tell all my families, don't suffer in silence. Let me know what's going on. I'm there to help work and help figure it out for you. Everybody's different, so we have to do what's needed and do the best for our families.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we do have live questions rolling in. So if we need to come back to the frequently asked questions, we will. But to get started, Becca wants to know, tell us some more about the EPIC Live classes. Our teacher never told us about them. Then we were a little blindsided that these added classes were part of our child's plan plus the current curriculum. And so the EPIC Live classes are not everybody is doing them. Am I right, Susan? Talk to me about EPIC Live. How does one do that? And then how do you incorporate that as well as that core curriculum?
The EPIC Live classes are taught by EPIC teachers, and they each have a focus. So you may be in a 4th grade math class or a 5th grade writing class. And this is meant to complement and go along with the curriculum the students are doing. All the classes are standards-based and taught by EPIC teachers. And it's an opportunity for our students to see other EPIC students and interact with them and another EPIC teacher and be learning the grade level standards for their grade. And it's meant to complement and enhance a child's education and offer another avenue and way of learning the standards. So a family could contact their teacher.
Okay, sorry, I was seeing a little bit of a delay. Good, thank you very much. Let me see here. Erica says, what parts of the EPIC Essentials are absolutely required for freshmen? And Adam, I'm gonna let you take that, but before you go, I just wanted to say, absolutely required is filling in gaps and then getting state standards. Adam, please elaborate. Talk to us about what's required, or what do we expect out of freshmen this year?
Yeah, I want to kind of pivot away from what's absolutely required, because again, we're trying to individualize every student's education here. And for the most part, matriculation is our main goal for our high school students, as well as trying to support them in their passions and if they want to go on to college afterwards. And so with EPIC Essentials, think of it more as a support system. If you're freshmen in Algebra 1 and English Semester A1, EPIC Essentials is something that can tie in with those curriculums in order to kind of, get them to be more cohesive. It's not something that's necessarily an absolute. We want to get away from really those words and kind of make it more so where it's a supportive system and something that is, obviously what's best for each individual child as well.
Absolutely. And if you have a question about it and you need further support beyond what the teacher may be able to explain to you, you can always go be your principal, and they're willing to step in and help out as well. Let me see here. Holly wants to know, and Chandler, this is a question for you. Holly wants to know, have any of the Learning Fund purchases been on hold due to the audit this year?
So there have been no purchases or items that we have put on hold due to the audit. As every year goes, there are issues that arise with specific Learning Fund providers, as well as the pandemic has also put a big strain and stress on some of the items that we frequently purchase. So that's where we've seen most of our delays this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let me see here. Nicholas wants to know, why haven't the laptops been updated? And I reached back out to him and asked him to elaborate. And he said that last year's stuff is still loading. And Nicholas, I'll still need more help. Please hit me up with an email, if you will, and I'll walk through this with you. Erin.Barnes@epiccharterschools.org. And that's any of you who have anything that you need to speak to me about outside of this, just hit I'm gonna ask you. Okay, can you hear? Can you guys hear me? Okay, so Nicholas will help you out with that on the back side of this. Carrie wants to know, are the EPIC essentials required? And I know, Adam, you just said, let's try not to use the word required. If a student is not below grade level, we've been told that it is required for daily attendance. And so, Susan, talk to me about attendance and all the things that can be counted as attendance.
There are a variety of things that can be accounted for attendance. It can include a meeting with your teacher, completing graded assignments online, completing graded assignments offline, attending your EPIC Live classes, and attendance can also be taken with our EPIC Essentials programs through MindPlay and Dreambox and Freckle. So each student needs to have 72 assignments per quarter to be counted in full attendance for that quarter.
That's great, thank you. And Leah wants to know, what are we supposed to do when the core curriculum isn't working? We're 4 weeks behind because Reading Eggs wasn't working. Regina, talk to me, are they really 4 weeks behind? What are some things that kids can do in the meantime when the curriculum is not working?
Yeah, when the curriculum's not working, once again, that's a communication with your teacher. I know personally, I have lots of offline resources that I can send to the families. Families without printers, I make arrangements to print those off and either drop them in the mail or drop them on their porch, depending on where they're at. There's activities you can go outside and do a science walk and a civics lesson and all kinds of things like that. So when you talk to your teacher, there's a box where you think you just have to do these certain things, but as teachers, we know how to teach outside the box and get curriculum that's needed. So, once again, I cannot communicate enough that talking to your teacher is the most important thing that you can do being an EPIC family, and building that relationship and knowing what you need is really going to go far, and you're not going to be behind. It's just going to look a little bit different.
Well, and to piggyback on that, Leah, there are some kids who, and I encourage anybody out there listening, go get a copy of the standards from the State Department website. We mentioned this last week, and I'll always harp on it. You guys can help decide how you're going to meet the mastery outside of the curriculum. There are some kids, my daughter is one of them, that for English language arts, that one subject, we don't use the core curriculum because we're helping create content, we're building things, we're doing novel studies, she's got workbooks that she uses. And so for that core curriculum, she doesn't actually ever touch Odysseyware. She'll do her math and her science in there, but she does not use the core curriculum for that subject because we follow the standards. And they can be tricky, but you've got a teacher to help you unpack those. And so don't feel like you're obligated to the core curriculum, as long as you are taking pictures of the content you're doing them, uploading them into a Google Drive, proving that mastery through, we use Study Island, we use IXL, and we use Mastery Connect for my daughter to prove that she actually does know that content. And you can do that as well. Anybody else want to elaborate on that? Okay, well then we will move to the next question. Brooke says, I am a local Army recruiter. Would you allow the release of contact information for your students so military recruiters can talk? So, Brett, that's a great question. We are actually already partnered with the Army, and we have a program that we call STAR, and we have students who are already working with Army recruiters. I'm so glad you're here. This is a great place for you to help give us information about the programs available to kiddos after high school. That's great. Megan wants to know, is there an art class elective for lower elementary? It's been a couple of years since I've chosen a curriculum. Is Creativity Express still a supplemental curriculum, Chandler, that kiddos can use and pick from?
One more time, please. I didn't hear which one you were asking about.
Creativity Express.
I haven't seen Creativity Express this year. We do offer quite a bit of supplemental art packages, as well as we have vendors who do art classes this year, both virtually and in person, that the Learning Fund can help to get your students involved with.
Beautiful. Thank you. Leah and Erica both are asking about switching teachers. Erica has a temporary teacher, and Leah's wondering, so Susan, talk to us about when is a good time to switch teachers? Can it be worked out? And what do they do if they decide they do need to switch a teacher?
Yes, first of all, we'd like to try and work it out with your teacher, and definitely be in contact with your principal and ask your principal, share with your principal your concerns and what's going on, and we'll see if it's something that can be worked out. And if not, we can find a different teacher for your student. But do be in contact. Make sure you're talking to your teacher so your teacher knows what your concerns are, because sometimes people aren't sharing their concerns, and many teachers are willing to help and make adjustments to meet the needs of your individual student. And if you're trying to figure out how to contact your principal, look at your teacher's email address, and below your teacher's name, you will find the name of the principal with their phone number and email address.
Excellent. And I see a great question coming up. Caitlin wants to know, Chandler, when is the Learning Fund going to catch up? Why is it so behind? I ordered a month ago and I still haven't even seen it being reviewed. Chandler, talk to me about how many, this number that you gave last, I think it was 2 weeks ago, it blew my mind. How many total orders off just the main options that we offer were made last year?
So just off the main options that we ordered last year, we had over 200,000 orders collectively. That's between our core curriculum, our technology, and our off-menu items. This year, we've already surpassed that, and we're only a few months into the school year of where we as a department are ordering. So as you can imagine, there is a substantial amount of orders that are pending in our system, but we are working diligently to get through those as quickly as we can so that we can get the materials and the learning supplies to your students faster.
Yes, but so all last year, from August to May, 200,000, and between August and now, well over 200,000.
Very much so.
You guys are doing it, and I'm sorry you're behind, and I'm sorry too that parents don't have that stuff yet, but we are working through it. Okay, Nicole wants to know, can you talk about kiddos choosing to do 2 grade levels in 1 year? I've definitely had kiddos do this. I know Regina's had kiddos do this. Adam and Susan, you probably have too. Regina, talk to me about if you've got a kiddo that comes to you and their plan is to do 2 grade levels in 1 year, what's that look like? And do you back off of it if they need to? I mean, talk to us about when a kid comes to you with that kind of a plan.
Well, I think a lot of it needs to, you really have to talk to the parent about and look at the age of the child. You can say, have a third grader and they want to say, oh, we want to do third and fourth grade and get there early. You need to also talk to the parents to look ahead and say, okay, being ahead doesn't always mean that that's going to be a good thing, because when they get to high school, you don't want them to necessarily be 13 years old and going into high school. So you want to look at their maturity, but you also want to make sure that they're being enriched. Being gifted and going and doing those extra classes are awesome, but you also need to look at the pros and cons of doing 2 years in a row. As for my older kids, I have had some older kids that have come to me behind. They've had some life changes or struggles in life, and they realize, oh my gosh, I need to get out, or they're about to age out. Well, what we do in that situation is we make a plan and we check and make a chart of like, okay, this class has to be done by this day, and we chop it up. We don't look at all 12 credits at one time. We chunk it and work through each one and do it the best way that we can that fits that student's needs, whether they're working, whether they're managing children of their own, whatever their situations may be. I've had kids that have been very successful in doing 2 years, but then I've also had a kid that wanted to do, let's say, 5th and 6th grade, and then they realized, yeah, that just wasn't working. And you know what? That was okay. We backed it off. We added some enrichment activities, and now they're a very happy 6th grader this year. So once again, you got to talk. You've got to evaluate each situation, talk to your teacher, and feel like you're communicating, and do what's best for your families.
So true, so true. Shannon, I'm glad we could help you out with working outside of the box. Your teachers are very familiar with that term, so just ask them. Amanda says, I've seen many concerned about bothering their teachers with their questions. Can you put them at ease? Susan, talk to me. Has a family ever really bothered you with their questions?
No, we welcome the questions of our families, and that's why we're here. That's why your teacher's here. And when I was teaching, I always let the families know that when when your teacher's working with a student, they may not answer their phone, but as soon as they're done with that student meeting or done with that online meeting, your teacher will be checking their messages and they will call you back. And our goal is to respond to everyone within 24 to 48 hours. And we encourage all of our teachers to build time into their schedule to be able to answer your calls and meet your needs. Because if we can get your student going and your questions answered right away, that is better than sitting there stuck, not being able to work for a couple of days.
Awesome. And Chandler, the next
on that.
Yeah, please do so.
I mean, from our teachers in the field to the staff at 50 Penn Place, everybody is there to help. I mean, we're all trying to be engaged to do what we can in a timely manner and to be supportive. So when we have questions, it's never a bother. It's more so we are accepting them with open arms because we want people to be engaged and there for their children's education.
Thank you very much. That was a perfect add-on. Chandler, Delilah wants to know, should we wait to start classes until the Learning Fund confirms with, they're going through an approved vendor, but should they wait to start those classes until it's approved? How do the approved vendors work?
So absolutely. So what's unique about the Learning Fund and our vendor services is that that relationship is established between the parents, students, and the vendor. The vendors are set up with us and have already gone through an approval process, so they're aware of the process in which needs to be taken place, and that agreement will come between you as a parent and the vendor themselves, and then the vendor knows how to handle the financial aspects of that within the Learning Fund and the accounting departments.
Thank you so much. And this next question is from Melissa. She says, we're newly entering EPIC and our teacher assigned does not have an education degree. What's the difference? And should we be seeing one with a degree as opposed to one who doesn't have a degree? They just want the best path for their high schooler. And if I could give you a little story, my husband was a Tulsa police officer with a marketing degree. Neither of those two things matched up, but he had a very successful career in the police department and then left the police department to become a 6-time A teacher in EPIC. He did not have an education degree, but we're all very well versed and very well trained in how to do our job. That's one of the things EPIC actually takes pride in, is making sure all teachers are trained to be able to serve these students out of the box. And out of the box is sometimes without an education degree. We've got the entire You Teach program that is set up for people who do not have degrees, but by the end of that school year, they will have the certification, the education certification. So just because they don't have one necessarily doesn't mean it's not going to work. And some of them are working through it right now. So I hope that that helps answer your question, Melissa, and actually helps put some ease in your heart and in your mind. Delilah says, is there a local group for parents of EPIC schools for social outlets? Delilah, if you have not already joined, find the EPIC parents.
It looks like we're having a little technical difficulties with Erin, but yes, there's a parent Facebook group that it's structured to have outlets for ideas or co-op groups or different organizations that can be there to help provide support for parents.
Boom. Yes, there's Facebook groups all over the place. Thank you so much, Adam, for stepping in and helping me out. Let me see. Rodna says, is there a way to test out of classes and get credits? Ask your teacher about credit recovery. I'm just going to start blasting through some of these. Guys, there are still so many questions left for us to answer, and we're going to answer your questions, but it may have to be through chat. Maybe we do a whole second, another new family session. But let me see how many I can get through real quick. What about testing for dysgraphia, for instance? Can that be done? Ask your teacher about that. I know with some of the special needs, you have to go through a process. There are ways to get outside evaluations and ways to do inside evaluations, but definitely reach out to your teacher and ask about that. Does the driver's ed count as a credit? Last year, we were enrolled in Browns, but because of COVID, it got canceled. So we're doing driving safely. Does that count as credit? My go-to answer is yes, but we'll want to see the scope and sequence of that vendor. And obviously, just like with any other vendor, we want to see those hours. And then most of them are parent taught. So you just take that information, and if you provide us with it, we will try to provide you with that credit. Is there a way to is there interactive lessons? We're struggling with 4th grade math. We need a Zoom class for more explanation. Yes. Mia, please reach out to your teacher and or principal. We will find you more support. Erica, do we have to meet with our teacher face-to-face, or can we do it virtually? The answer is yes, both. Whatever you need, just ask and we'll make it happen. Guys, it is 12:30 and I'm so sad. We've got like 15 more questions here, but we will answer them. Even if I have to make a video myself and such, but we've got to let these guys get back to work. Thank you so much, families, for making this such a productive chat. Join in next week. I believe we're talking about special services, some of the special services that we're able to provide or we outsource so that we can provide you some of those special services. You guys are amazing. Every week you blow me away with the amount of questions that you give and that we can help out with. And so until next week, thank you for making EPIC a top place to work and to learn.